What is going on, everybody? What is cracking? Ron here with Get Phat Food. Welcome back. I'm shooting a video today because the forecast says it's supposed to rain for like all of next week or the weekend, and then plus some of next week. So pretty much the next 5-6 days it's going to be raining. So I figure might as well do a video on my way to work today. And as you can see, it already looks like it's going to rain. Hopefully it doesn't. The forecast says it's not going to rain today. It's just cloudy and cold. But the forecast has been wrong before. So yeah. Anyways, I want to talk about scooters and maybe some motorcycles that I'm interested in. So if I had to buy, if not buy, but it doesn't have to be brand new, but if I wanted to try, if I had to get a scooter or a motorcycle right now, which ones would I choose? Well, I'm going to tell you, the power on the Navi is fine. It's fine. So it's not going to win any races. You really got to push it if you want to get anywhere. Meaning you're always kind of like at least at half throttle, if not full throttle, all the time. It's only 110, right? And I heard the same thing about the other mini motos from Honda, with like the Grom, the Monkey, what else is there? You can forget about the other scooters like the Metropolitan and the fucking dumb bitch, like the Metropolitan and the, what is it called, the Ruckus. Those are only 50 cc's. It's like, dude, you can't even, e-bikes are going faster than those now. But there's also that PCX and the ADV 160. Those are pretty fast. They're actually freeway legal here in California. I believe the rule in California is you can't be on the freeway unless you're 150. That's 150 cc or higher. So if you're like on a Grom and you're on the freeway going like 65 or 60, and they decide to pull you over, and they decide to pull you over, and they find out, they could give you a ticket for being on the freeway. Yeah, I don't even know the legality of those hyper scooters, like those like Dualtrons and stuff that can go like 60, 65, 70, 80 miles an hour. I don't know if I don't think any of them can hit 80, but I know like I've heard 70. Even like those the EUCs, the electric unicycles, I heard they can go pretty fast, but I don't know the legality of those. But as far as scooters go, it's got to be 150 cc scooters and motorcycles, right? So yeah, if I was interested, or if I had to buy or get a new bike right now, scooter wise, I would want to go bigger. That was the point of this whole thing of me describing everything. I want a maxi scooter. Now unfortunately, scooters are not super popular in the United States. mainly because there's a lot of open road, so you actually want to try and go faster. And you know, the whole Harley culture and everything like that, you're not a man if you can't shift or blah blah. Hey, I can shift, I just don't want to. See, like this, I'm always stopping, and it gets tiring. Pretty much you're constantly in first and second, and then maybe sometimes third. And then you're just constantly shifting 1 through 3. That's what I noticed when I used to have a motorcycle. I used to have a Ninja 650, and it got old real quick. And plus the gas sucked on that thing too. I think it only got like 45. It's like 45 or 50 miles per gallon on a Ninja 650. Which is not great. I liked it though. I mean, I was able to go faster. But you know, I'll be honest, I was a little scared on that thing. I wasn't comfortable. But yeah, if I had to get a new one, I would probably get a maxi scooter. What are the options for maxi scooters in the United States? The one I'm most interested in is, there's two. So there's the Kymco X-Town 300. So pretty much I want a 300cc scooter. Those are, you know, what's considered maxi scooters, touring scooters. A scooter that you can take on the freeway, if needed. Usually around 300cc, I noticed a lot of people's top speeds is like 80. So you can't even go that fast on the maxi scooters. Probably even worse because I'm a fat guy. So, oh man, I'm running late to work, guys. You know what happened this morning? I was actually pretty early. I was at like 7. It was like 7:20, and I was getting ready to leave. And then I locked the door and I closed it behind me. And then I'm like, shit, I don't have my keys. I totally forgot my keys. So I had to, unfortunately, I had to wake up my landlord and wake him up so I could get back in and grab my keys. I feel bad for that. But yeah, it happens. Actually, I think this is the first time it's happened ever. I always remember my keys. For some reason today, something threw me off. I don't know, but I forgot my keys. Anyway, Kymco X-Town 300. I haven't really heard any like super bad things about Kymco. You know, like being unreliable as a brand. But I heard that Kymco is, what is that, Taiwanese? In Taiwan? I don't know. There's other brands out there, but that's the one I'm interested in the most. X-Town 300. And then the other one, if I still want to stay with Japanese here, is the Yamaha X-Max 300. Which is a wonderful looking scooter. It looks pretty slick. I wouldn't mind grabbing that, but I think it is way more. There's a big difference in price between that and the X-Town. So I don't know which one I would get. I would try to get an X-Town just because it's cheaper, and I'm gonna beat it up anyway. You know, I'm gonna commute on it. I'm gonna, I don't know what with it, but I'm gonna be using it. So yeah, there's the Yamaha X-Max 300. that's been around. If I wanted to stick with Honda, they don't have anything larger than the 160. They don't have anything bigger in CCs than the, if I want to stay with scooters. They don't have anything bigger than the 160, so. They used to have a Forza that they used to sell in America, which is like a, was it a 250 or a 300? Something like that. But it was I think they discontinued it like in 2000. I don't know, I forget. But I think it was in the teens, like 2018, 2016. I don't know. So they got rid of that because most likely it just wasn't selling. People weren't buying it. So, and that's the thing. People want Honda to bring stuff in. But the reality is, if it's not going to sell, then no, they're not going to bother. They're not going to bother bringing it in. Because it won't sell, it's just going to sit. And as a buyer, I know how that is. If you have, items that you buy and it just sits there, eventually my boss will tell me, hey, Ron, just go ahead and cancel those. Or stop buying those. We're just going to discontinue it. Because it ain't worth it. Okay, another maxi scooter that I'm interested in is not Asian at all. This one's German, and I think it's built in China, to be honest with you, or the parts are built in China. I don't know. It's the BMW. I think it's called the C400 GT, and it's a 400cc. Everyone says 300, 400, but it's like a little bit less. But there's a 400cc BMW scooter that looks pretty interesting. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. And there's all this tech with it, And they even have like a electric version. There's I think it's called a CE04, 04. I don't know. Seems pretty cool. Way out of my price range. Even used. Unless I could find like an older one, it's gonna be hard to find one. And brand new, those things are like 10 grand or something. It's like, geez. It's all in the name though. Just because you call it a Beamer. That's why it costs that much. There's also, I was thinking about it, there's also the Suzuki. Stay with Japanese. There's the Bergman, and I think they stopped selling the 650. That's like I think that's probably the largest scooter in CCs that they have here. $650. It was called the Bergman Executive or something. Suzuki Bergman, and then they have a 400 and they have a 200. So I don't know which one I would get. To be honest with you, I'm not really super interested in those, only because they are so old looking. I don't think they've updated it in a very, very long time. So I don't think I'd be getting any of those. But just wanted to mention Suzuki, but pretty much those three right there, the X-Town 300, Yamaha X-Max, and the Beamer BMW C400 GT. Those look pretty cool. And then the fourth one, if I was going to get another scooter that's powerful, I would probably go with the brand that's synonymous with scooters, and that's the Vespas. And I'd probably get a used one. No way am I getting a brand new one, because they're hella expensive, dude. But they're kind of old school, because I heard that there's no plastic fairings or anything. These are like made out of metal. And to be honest, with like, if it's all made out of metal, that means it's pretty heavy. And so I don't know, I have to look up the specs on how heavy they are. But that would mean that, you know, it's a little slower just because it's made out of metal. And they don't have good wind buffeting, I heard. It's not as great. So, but yeah, that'd be like the fourth one. And then as far as motorcycles go, or let's go with mini motos. The ones I've been looking at recently, obviously Honda Grom would be my number one if I was gonna go mini moto again. And then actually number two, I would want to try that new brand called CF Moto. They have a thing called a Papio, and it's like a 126cc. It's pretty much like a Grom competitor. And people are talking about it mainly because it's cheaper. Number one, it's cheaper. It's not as great as the Grom though, is what I've heard, but it is a Grom competitor nonetheless. And I'd just be interested to, you know, beat that thing around. As far as the mini motos go, I think that's the only one I'm interested in, from Honda at least, is just the Grom. I don't really care about the others, not really. Like with the centrifugal clutch. God, I can't even speak this morning. You know, the ones with the clutchless clutch. So you just shift with your feet. You don't have to baby the clutch, you know, with your hand. I'm not really interested in those too much. Maybe the trail looks kind of cool. But I kind of want space for someone to ride with me, and that's the Grom. And then there's like that new one, the Dax. But they all have the same engine. It's all the 125cc that they've had for forever. So, I'll just stick with a Grom. If I had to, I would just get a Grom. And then motorcycle-wise, I would stick with Honda again, but this time I would go with one of the DCTs that they have, and I think the newest one is the Rebel 1100 DCT. I would be interested in that. Obviously I heard the gas mileage is horrendous. I mean, it's not horrendous, but it's horrendous compared to a scooter, you know. You're gonna get 50. I heard like around 50 miles per gallon, and it's got a small tank, so it's hard to tour with. But it's automatic, which I've never owned one of those, and I've always wanted to. I wanted to try the DCT. Then there's probably what I would get is the NC 750X, which is also with a clutch. I mean, without a clutch. It's with the DCT clutch and the DCT transmission. I would pick that probably most likely because it's very practical. There's a little frunk. And it's pretty, from what I've heard, it's pretty reliable. Oh, what the fuck? It's like, people, why are you standing on the corner if you're not going to cross? Maybe you should like step back, because it looks like you want to cross. That's why this car in front of me was like, go ahead. I'm not going to be super late to work. 7, it's almost 8. That's one of the good things about being on salary. When you're on salary, they're kind of like, just get your job done. Don't go home until it's done. So if you finish early, great. Okay, so motorcycle wise, got that NC 750 DCT, the Rebel 1100. Now if I had to shift again, I'd probably stay with Honda or probably Kawasaki. I would go cruiser, and I would probably get the Honda Shadow Phantom. I know there's a new one that just came out last year. So the Honda Shadow Phantom. There's also a Kawasaki Vulcan 900. Would I get a Harley? Sure. You know, I wouldn't mind. I've never owned a Harley. What else? I'm not into sport bikes or like super sport bikes, you know. That aggressive stance is thing. So here's what I heard about cruisers though, because of the way you're sitting. Okay, because of the way you're sitting, it's gonna mess with your back, and I can't afford to have something wrong with my back. My back is already messed up as it is. I don't need to make it worse, you know. So anyways guys, thanks again for watching. Maybe I'll make a part 2. I'm not sure what else I'm interested in. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay hungry. Later, Gators. Bye.